Today, we're diving into one of the most significant and recited texts in all of human history. It's a short chapter, but it's the absolute foundation for the faith of nearly 2 billion people. So, what makes these 7 verses so incredibly powerful? Let's find out.
All right, let's just jump right into the question. Have you ever actually thought about what's on the very first page of the Quran? This is it. This is the very first page, and on it is the opening chapter. It's a short but incredibly profound prayer, just 7 verses, and it's known as Al-Fathiha, which means the opening.
So that name, Al-Fathiha, it's really our first big clue about just how important this chapter is. Let's dig into what the opening actually, opens.
Right. So Al-Fathiha, it literally means the opening in Arabic. And you can think of it just like that. It's the gateway to the entire Quran. It kind of sets the stage, It gives you a summary of all the core ideas you're about to encounter.
What's really interesting is how this prayer is structured. It's almost like a conversation, and it doesn't just jump in with a bunch of requests. Nope, it starts with praise, with recognition. The whole first half is all about acknowledging God's nature.
It kicks off with this really powerful invocation. And right from the very first line, the main things we learn about God are mercy and compassion. Think about that for a second. The first attribute isn't power or judgment or anger, it's mercy. That's a huge statement. Then, verse 2 immediately zooms out. It goes from God's nature to his role as Lord of the worlds. And this is key. It's not just the Lord of one group or one people, but the sustainer of all of creation, everything. And what's really fascinating? The theme of mercy isn't just mentioned once. In verse 3, it's repeated. It's stated again. And that's not just for emphasis. It's a huge theological point. It's basically saying that the main way to understand God's relationship with us is through this lens of just overwhelming compassion.
Okay, so this whole first section of praise wraps up by recognizing God as the ultimate judge, the sovereign of the day of recompense. So you have this really interesting balance, right? Infinite mercy on one hand, and ultimate justice and accountability on the other.
All right, so we've built this foundation of praise. Now watch this. The prayer takes a huge turn. The whole tone is about to change as it builds towards a really direct and really profound request.
And here it is. Verse 5 is the pivot. It's the turning point of the whole chapter. The language suddenly gets super personal, super direct. It is you we worship, and you we ask for help. It goes from describing God to speaking directly to God. It's a declaration of devotion, but also an admission that we need help. So, what's the one thing being asked for? What's the help that's needed? It all boils down to this: guidance to the straight path. And this isn't some literal road, of course. It's a powerful metaphor for a life of purpose, a life of clarity, a life of doing the right thing. And that brings us right here to the absolute heart of the prayer. This is the core request of the entire chapter. The ultimate thing being asked for isn't money or health or power. It's something so much more fundamental. It's direction. Guide us to the straight path. Yeah, this one line, this is really what it's all about. It's the central plea, the focal point that the entire prayer has been building up to.
So how do we know what this straight path actually is? Well, the final verse clarifies it by telling us what it's not. It's the path of those who have God's favor, and it's explicitly not the path of those who have gone astray or earned anger. This gives that kind of abstract idea of a straight path a really concrete definition.
Okay, so we've just walked through all 7 of these short verses, but that still leaves us with the biggest question of all, right? Why? Why is this one short chapter so incredibly important to millions and millions of people all over the world? Well, for starters, Al-Fathiha is the absolute cornerstone of Muslim prayer. It's recited multiple times every single day in every formal prayer. But it's more than that. It's basically a complete summary of the core beliefs of Islam, all packed into 7 verses. It creates this direct, personal conversation between the person praying and God. That's why it's often called the mother of the book. It's like the entire essence of the Quran, distilled down into one powerful prayer. And that really leaves us with something to think about. You have this prayer, just a handful of lines, that has been recited, literally billions upon billions of times, over centuries. So what is it? What gives this simple structure of praise, followed by a request, and then a clarification? What gives that such enduring universal power? And what does its focus on mercy and guidance tell us about the human search for meaning itself?